What's up, family? It's your girl, Adrienne Threat, with the Unstoppable Visionary podcast, and I am so glad that you decided to join me today. Yes, I know it's been a hot minute since the last episode, which was episode 4, I think, but life be life, and we had another family crisis with one of our kids, and we've been doing holy coffee parties. If you've never been to one of those, it's called the Big Drip Revival. It's super dope. If you're anywhere near Charlotte, I need you to connect and join in on one of the upcoming monthly gatherings. Super dope. You can go to bigdriprevival.com to learn more about that. But yeah, we've been doing all the things, but we're here today with a amazing episode that I know for sure is going to rock your life, okay? I know because it hit me hard recording it live, and as I was just listening to it again today, I was like, dang man, this goes hard. So I'm excited because I know that the things that you need to make that next big move in your life, this is going to help you get there. One of the things that our guest talks about today is how our comfort zones often are just pretty prisons that we have kind of gotten too comfortable in. We think it's our safe place. We think we're protected, but really we're more stifled than we could ever imagine. We're more hindered because we won't make the necessary choices, the necessary steps to be courageous and to train our heart and our minds to just obey God in the big things or the little things that He has instructed us to do. So I'm so glad to present to you, look, let me go back to my Baptist roots, introduce to some and to present to others, the Pastor D. Jameson Wilford. She is so amazing, and I'm so glad that she gave her yes to joining us on the Unstoppable Visionary podcast, because it is going to change your life. The gems, the insight and revelation that she is going to share from her real life experiences. I'm telling you now, it is that good. So break out your notepads. Listen, vintage paper, okay, and pens, they do wonders, because you're going to need to go back and really meditate and digest the things that are shared today. I know I will be doing so. And you're going to need to probably listen again, like we always say, because, listen, it's a lot to take in, okay? For the best of us, it's a lot to take in. So, yes, listen multiple times, take your notes, and, let's jump into it. Listen, there are moments when I would jump in on Facebook or Instagram. Primarily Facebook is where I first encountered Pastor D. And it would be in the middle of the night, and she would be just dropping bombs, and I knew, and I wasn't the only one. Many of us knew, hey, this is God speaking to us in this moment to give us the push forward into activating us into some next step that we needed to take. This is that moment for you. So lock in. Lock in. You might be driving right now, or you might be cooking dinner, whatever. Okay, multitask if you got to, but I need you to lock in, because this is a destiny shaper kind of conversation, okay? Meet me back here when you finish. While you're watching, throw your thoughts in the comments, ask your questions. We want to engage with you. We're here to walk with you in this journey, because we know what it's like to have people who are there for you as you are navigating your seasons of becoming. And we also know what it's like to not have anyone. So if you're feeling alone, we here. Let's jump in these comments, jump in the DMs, send us an email, all the things, whatever you need, because we believe in what God is doing in you, even at the heart level as a visionary, an unstoppable visionary. So let's get into this episode. I know I said a lot, but let's get into it. All right. Thank you, Pastor D. Do you want us to call you Pastor D or just D? What's your preference?
Whatever you want. Whatever you like. I have no preference. I am just D though.
Amazing woman of God that carries the glory and the anointing. You want me to do that?
No, just be normal.
Okay.
She looked at you like, what in the world?
Because at first I was like,
never mind. Never mind. Log off.
It's a preacher's intro.
Anymore. She looked at you like, this is what I get for hanging out with strangers.
Strangers. Oh no, I love strangers. I know no strangers.
All right. Today we are in the studio kind of with Pastor D, Jameson Wilford from Chicago. I don't know if that's exactly where you're from, but we're just going to jump into the conversation. Let's just start off by you sharing a little bit about who you are, what God is doing in your life right now, what you're stewarding.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I am actually from Washington, D.C., Southeast to be exact. I've been in the Midwest for about 8 years. I am a mother. I'm a wife. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a senior pastor. And I am a proud leadership coach and a womanhood coach where I'm able to pour into women and call them into greater purpose. Most of the women that I work with, and I work with men too, of course, in the ministry, but my primary thing, like my thing outside of like leading with my husband or outside of like our partnership in ministry, my thing is really getting women where they need to be and raising the standard for how they live, how they build, how they lead, and how they impact the world. Outside of our church, the Tabernacle Chicago, I have a movement for women of faith. It is called Godly Woman Culture, where we're obviously raising the standard for God's culture. And also we have opportunities for women to connect with other women in sisterhood. We have a platform for women that are also leaders. We have resources, discipleship resources, womanhood resources. We have all the things. And then I would say my favorite part about my purpose is it's called Godly Woman Elevated, which is where I get to mentor leaders. I think that that's like the thing that's just, it's the thing I live for. I get to mentor women leaders, whether they're doctors, whether they're preachers, whether they are CEOs, whether they are emerging in their leadership. I get to do that and coach them into their greatness.
Why is that your favorite part?
I think it's my favorite part because that's where I come alive the most. I think that in other parts of my purpose, it's more collaborative, right? It's like more of a partnership. And so I am coming alongside, for instance, my husband, and I bring something different than he brings, but we merge together, we partner together, and we're able to lead our church. We're able to build our church. But in this space, it's like where I am just D. Wilford. It's just me able to lead. I'm the visionary. I am the CEO. I'm the one that's delegating. I get to partner with God, creating systems, creating blueprints, creating even curriculum and things of the sorts to actually empower women. And I feel like it activates parts of me that may not be needed in those other spaces. And even for Godly Woman Culture, I have a team. So we like to say that Godly Woman Culture is led by God, but powered by women. So I'm just the founder. So you have all these other brains that are coming to the table where I can relax and just be the founder and a leader to some degree. But I feel like with the leadership mentorship thing, I feel like it stretches me to grow beyond all of the things, all of the partnerships, all of the collaborations. And it puts that good pressure on me to continue to become to the point where it's like that part of my purpose ignites me and prepares me for the rest because of the mandate, because of the weight, and because of the responsibility. I feel like, oh, yeah, I got to lean in here a lot more because it's like, oh, this is just me and God over here.
So first of all, I was super, super salty that I could not go to that conference last year. I was like trying to figure out like, okay, how can I make this happen?
Yes.
Husband, I'm going to need you to figure out how to send me there in 2026.
I'll figure it out. I got you.
We got that on camera. So
I love that. Okay, Manuel. All right. We're making on you.
Go ahead and reserve me a seat.
Okay.
I'm going to get my Airbnb. I'm going to go ahead and pick my Airbnb out. And listen, I'm holding you to that. I mean, I was so super excited just watching all of the promotions that was like leading up to that time. And I'm like, dang it, man. Like, I'm too far away. If I was in the area, I would have been there for sure. So I didn't know of you until like last year. I stumbled across you somehow on Facebook,
Okay.
and like it was like every couple of days you were waking up and choosing violence. Oftentimes in the middle of the night, I'd be like, she is like coming for us. What in the world? Like, and it was so crazy because it was like the post that you would, like, God was putting on your heart to post. I could so relate to it. At the same time, it was like, it was a challenge to the places where maybe I was stagnant or not having forward movement in areas where it was like, yeah, you know, God told you XYZ. Like, I'm sending you a reminder right here. She in the middle of the night sending you these messages, and I wasn't the only one that was responding the same way. We'd be like, "Girl, you could have just sent us an inbox. Like, you ain't gotta. Why you coming for us like this?"
Sure.
And so it's been really dope to just see how God has been using you in that space. What's that been like for you?
I'm just showing up on social media, or what part?
Showing up on social media and body slamming us on a regular basis.
Well, first of all, believe it or not, it took me a while to even get into the flow of social media. I was one of those people that didn't like it.
Really?
Honestly. Yes, I didn't like it. I didn't like the hustle and bustle. I
Yeah.
didn't like the idea of like, I have to have these content days to do all this work. It's like, look, if you don't know me, God's going to work it out. However, the Lord, he had to really convict me, honestly. And I think that it started with obviously building in-person things
Mm.
and realizing like I'm hearing people that I'm pouring into, like more women need to hear this, more women need to hear this. And here am I, like, I'm like, I just post whenever I want, I just do whatever I want. But I think what started to push me to post more is because of women like you. So I'm posting stuff not even wanting to, but I'm like, I feel this. I just want to put it out there. And then people are like, you just turned my life upside down. Like, this just transformed something for me. And I was like, you know what? The people that I'm called to, it's not just those that are around me. I'm like, there are women who may need what I have. And if I'm not showing up, they're not going to be able to find me. I'm not going to be able to find them. And so I think that I gradually started making peace with even the social media thing because of the women that I would come into contact with beyond like all of the other stuff. And so that became the main thing. And so how it is for me, I think that at this point, it's something that I look forward to, even if I don't feel like it, because let's be real. Like, I know y'all do a podcast. So sometimes you're like, we got to do this podcast. We love it. But at the same time, it is a lot at times.
It's work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's work. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Like when you already have work, you're like, I didn't need another thing. But like I was saying, because of women like you and because of women that I get to connect to, I'm like, you know what? This is not just work. It is actually helping people transform. It is actual impact. And I feel like because one of my values is contribution, that's what I see it as. I see it like I get to sow these principles, this wisdom, this revelation that shifted my life. And I can get one of my girls, one of my sisters, another woman in the world, this information and flip her life probably within 2 seconds when it took me 5 years. And so I think that my value for contribution is a part of what's driving and what continues to drive me to continue showing up on social media and or to even accept like a podcast engagement, because this was also something that I was like, I'm not doing a podcast, me and my husband, I feel like one thing, like the thing that works for you, it also can work against you.
Yeah.
I feel like we can be anti what's popular. And the Lord is like, yeah, I didn't ask you to do that because I actually need you in that space. So, keep your opinions to yourself. I feel like all the things that
You see how
we
she
were
subtly just
anti.
body slammed everybody right there?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Oh, even
just like that.
but y'all see what I'm saying though? It's like the things
Yeah.
I'm never doing that. I'm not causing that. It's like God is like, who asked you? And so even with this, I was like, I'm definitely gonna do it. Like I told my assistant, yes, I'm gonna do it. We looked you all up. I was like, yes, they look official. So we're good to go. Yeah. But I think that that's the thing. Like I feel more at home pouring. and making sure that I'm getting out of me what the world needs and what women need and men, because I also get feedback from men too. I'm getting it out of me to the people that need it the most. And I'm not gatekeeping the revelation at this point. I'm just like, open the floodgates, let it all out, you know?
That's good. So here's a question. What happens spiritually when and you might have had situations like this, but when we delay obedience, even when God, like, even when we have good intentions, like just like you said, you're like, hey, I'm not maybe called to that space, but God is like, hey, this is what I want you to do. What happens spiritually when we delay that? If we delay that.
I'm gonna say this. I think that there's a cost, right? And so many people, we see the cost of perhaps like what we may be walking into, and we're concerned about the unknown, but we don't count up the cost of delay. And delay costs us more than time. It will cost you becoming. And what I've learned about God is the season that's appointed for you is going to come whether you're ready or not.
Yeah. Wow.
And so every time you delay purpose, you delay decision, you disobey what God is saying, every time you do that, you make it harder for yourself because you're training your own brain that it's okay to doubt purpose. It's okay to circumvent what God is saying. It's okay to procrastinate. Like, and you're literally telling your brain, like, it is okay for us to work against destiny. And so the greatest cost, in my opinion, of delay is not being prepared for the appointed time because it's going to come whether you like it or not. Have you ever seen somebody like squander their moment? It's like you have the greatest opportunity before you, but you weren't ready. And so maybe you were gifted, but your character wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Maybe you were solid, but you didn't have the skills to maintain the momentum that the opportunity gave you. And so for me, people think, oh, when God is calling me to something, delay stops the thing. No, it stops the preparation. It even stops the process. It stops your ability to be developed for the thing. Y'all get what I'm saying? And so it's like, yeah, you're looking at the outcome, and yes, it is big. Yes, it is scary. I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes it's like, man, that's going to require a lot of me. But if God is calling you into it, step one is Him preparing you for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
We often think about counting the cost for what it takes to do a thing, but rarely do we consider like what it costs us to not do the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really thought about that. I always think about what it's going to cost me to say yes.
Yeah.
But there's just equally as important a cost to saying no that has to be considered. And like, we can't bypass that.
No.
So you might have to like add one of those little people body slamming somebody every time she do that. We need a body count.
Yeah, seriously, they lay people out. I'm gonna put a wrestling move. Oh, wow.
That is so funny.
Oh my gosh. So in your experience, what usually keeps people stuck even after like they know God has spoken, but they're still in this space of like, I'm gonna sit over here and chill. I'm gonna wait. Like maybe even a place of they think they're waiting on God, but really it's fear and hesitation that's keeping them from moving forward and pursuing whatever it is that God has spoken to them.
That's a really, really good question. And I think as somebody who struggled with some of the things that I'm about to say, I think that it's people's humanity. It's the fear of being a beginner for some people. It's the fear of being imperfect. It's the fear, or not even just the fear, like the concern with not having the resources, not feeling like they have the support. Even in some instances, I remember feeling inadequate or like I wasn't capable of doing it well. And I think that people don't give themselves the grace to start where they start. So everything is in the realm of either I'm going to do it right or wrong, or it's in the realm of either I'm going to win or fail.
Yeah.
And they're not thinking of it as a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so within the journey, there is no failure. There are only lessons. And something that I've learned is even the things that we think go wrong or might be wrong, or it's like, dang, that wasn't, good or as great as I wanted it to be. There is a revelation in that will serve your purpose in the future. And so I'm of the persuasion, and I think that if people see it this way, it'll be easier to start, that even your bad days have to serve your purpose when you belong to God. Even the things that you don't know have to come into alignment to serve your greater purpose, right? And so being teachable has been one of the greatest things that I've ever embraced for myself in every season. And what I don't know, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
People need you not to know. People need to see an imperfect person having a journey that is not, some people, it seems like everything just picks up for them. That's momentum. People need to see what it's like when you don't feel that, when you don't experience, this major success overnight. People need the real journey because everyday people are you. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that it's the fear. It's the fear of like beginning. It's the intimidation. It's the comparison. It's judging yourself too soon, because that's what comparison is. It's like you're comparing yourself to somebody's chapter 10. You're in your chapter 1. You're judging yourself too soon because your chapter 10 is probably going to be better than theirs. You just don't even know what God is setting you up for. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think that it's fear at the end of the day. It's fear. And sometimes we're too hard on ourselves because we have this excellent vision and we're trying to force ourselves to execute at that level instead of allowing ourselves to grow into that level of excellence and greatness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel that deeply. I feel like that describes me to a T.
It is.
In a lot of ways.
Love you, but
like,
that is you.
It's the perfectionist in me. Like, I want things to be a certain way. If I'm having to do something, I want to show up in a certain way that is reflective of excellence, and it honors God. And also, I'm not going to end up embarrassed. But that can also like prevent you from moving forward in things that God may be inviting you into. Like it's a tough space to navigate.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a balance that has to be there because it's like, especially for me, there's excellence that goes into play when we're launching something or building something. It's like it needed to be excellent. God is excellent. We're in the kingdom.
But you're not a perfectionist.
But I'm not a perfectionist like you, and I'm personally more willing to just step out and do something with it, not fully being all the way prepared, which is also, in my opinion, dangerous. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and so I feel like having a team, having others around and say, hey, I got a project right now that I'm working on that is way bigger than I'm calling people like, am I just insane right now? Because I don't know how to do this logistically and like keep me from being too big dream thinking.
Yes.
But don't pop my dream. Don't crush my dream, right? Like don't destroy it. And so like I do feel like there's a balance. And so is that something that you see when you're talking to women, talking to men? It's like, hey, for those ones that are like big dreamers and they don't have a problem coming up with creative wild ideas, they might not be the ones that see the practicality in some things. They might not be the ones that see the reality in some things. And so it's lofty vision, but there is some preparation that needs to be taking place. Is that some things that you see as well?
Absolutely. Big dreamers simply need anchors, but we don't want you to stop dreaming. We don't want you to stop stepping out, because what people don't realize is sometimes clarity and revelation only comes once you step out, once you go, versus the perfectionist. They're looking for the clarity, all the answers, dotting all the I's and the T's before they step out. And that's not typically how it works, because some things only come to you once you're in the field. And so I feel like just listening to you both, I'm like, well, it makes sense why God would put you both together, because you're the big dreamer. And not that you need to be a perfectionist, but I think that the healthy version of that is pace.
Mm-hmm.
The healthy version is just pace. And you probably like to master things before you present them, where your husband is like, I can master them as I go, which I feel like both like both of you, I feel like those traits, that perspective, that mindset is what builds something great. Like you need both, because one or the other, one is going to go straight to the top, but it's going to be like, man, I didn't got all the way up here. I forgot to build that foundation, and now I'm on the roof, and it's shaky up here. And then it's like, well, you're so busy building the foundation, it's like you don't have a roof because you never made it to there because you were so busy trying to make sure that the foundation was so perfect that you didn't
build the blueprints.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so I do see that a lot. I see like that. And honestly, I feel like I'm both in one. I feel like I can be both. And so that's also a point of reality that some people are both. It's like, I'm going to take this risk. I want to shoot straight to the top. And then the other side of me is like, well, as you're shooting, you better be perfect while you're going. And then before you know it, screeching halt, because it's like, I can't be perfect because the overall vision and the outcome is always going to be bigger than you. And if it's not, it ain't God. If you feel like I got this, go seek him again.
Right.
Because we often sometimes see our dreams, Emmanuel, but his dreams are so much bigger than ours that it's like, yeah, you need to grow into it. You want him to make you into it. You want him to build your capacity as you're growing into the person that can hold the weight, or the person that will steward the season well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, just even like a grocery store visit between the two of us is so like, okay, he's the one that likes to cook at our house.
I do.
I do not like to cook, but sometimes he will send me to go get the things for what he needs, but he don't necessarily give me a full list.
This is a very good example, by the way.
And so like, I will go in the store and I'm like, okay, he said he needs some chicken, some stuff to make the sauce, and some vegetables, and just very generic, like, here's the categories. Well, I'm standing in the meat section like, well, what kind of chicken? How much chicken does he need? Do you need the chicken breast or the thighs? Like, do I get this big pack or a little pack? All of these things. And then I'm borderline having an anxiety attack.
Got it.
I'm stressed because I want to make sure I have all the ingredients perfectly for what he needs to make my delicious meal. And he's like, will you just go in, pick it up, come out? That's 10 minutes easy. I'm in there an hour.
And in my mind, I'm like, at some points, I'm just like, she could get whatever, and I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be delicious. Like, it doesn't even matter what, like, as long as you're getting a protein, not even chicken. Like, it don't even, like, you could get literally whatever, and it's like, the outcome is still going to be beautiful. It's going to be tasty. And so that is a very clear picture.
We went winter. Well, we were supposed to be doing the winter storm shopping together.
Yeah.
But the babies were all asleep. So he stayed in the car. He was like, you just go in and get it. I'm thinking, now, this is a bad idea. Like, I don't know if it was that day, but trying to figure out what snow snacks.
That is a wild day.
What pack of chili seasoning? There's too many options. Like,
yeah. And he's like, just get one.
And so, like, as a visionary,
that's good.
Like, that can sometimes be challenging. I know it can be challenging for me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, where like there are so many ideas that maybe God has put in your heart, or maybe you've created in your own mind, and it's like, well, what do I move forward with? Like, which path do I go? Am I supposed to do, if I don't hear God clearly saying, here, this is the path, walk ye in it, like, that can sometimes cause people to just come to a hard stop. How do you help people work through that and just taking that next step, like not worrying about which seasoning it is, just get a seasoning and move forward in what God called you to do?
Well, first of all, I have to say this: you have to be aware of your own makeup. So what I see here is, wife, you are the planner, you're the strategist.
She is.
Hubby is the executor and the risk taker. And so I think that it's a matter of knowing the role you play in the vision. So you can be the visionary, but you have to know, what are my strong suits that will contribute to executing and producing what I'm seeing? And then, because you both are partners, what's going to be his task versus what's going to be yours? And I don't know if a strategist will ever be okay going in to just pick it up. I really do not think that. Like, I'm looking at you both, and I feel like you both are like my husband and I flipped on. Like, I'm your husband. Like, literally, like, go and get stuff for spaghetti. Go and get stuff for fried chicken. Right? We don't gotta keep talking about it. My husband, he'll come back. I'm like, okay, I asked for spaghetti. Did you get the meat? Like, what did you? He's like, you didn't put that on the list. I'm like, don't you eat it? It's common sense because you eat it. You mean to tell me that yeah, you mean to like, don't you eat it? Now, what I had to realize though, especially working in partnership, and I'll get to like, how do you know which one to move on? What I had to realize that working in partnership is you have to learn how the people around you think, whether you are the CEO of a team or whether you're partnering with your spouse, because you then have to provide them with clarity, even if it seems drastic to you, because that helps them function at their optimum. Yeah. So now I'm going down the list. Beef, tomato sauce, noodles, 2 packs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm breaking it down. Like, as a matter of fact, no beef this time, ground turkey. Like, I'm breaking it down because I feel like it helps him execute well. Mm-hmm. Whereas for me, I'm on a spot. Like, if you can switch it up when I get there. Like, what you need? I already have the ingredients in my mind, but of course, because I'm the cook. And so one thing I've had to learn was I can't assume that he knows these things because he's not a cook. They don't come natural to him. And so supporting your person is sometimes equipping them with what they need. And then also the planner and the strategist asking the right questions. Because we're just like, get chicken. And you're like, what chicken? Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with the chicken, right? But it's like, you know what? If you like Purdue, just start naming it, Yeah. I would say, like, to the visionary that's trying to figure out when it's time to move. For me, it all starts with discernment. Mm-hmm. Discernment begins when you are slowing down enough to tell the difference between pressure and direction, or what's pulling you versus what you're being directed to. Yeah. Now, for some people that may sound complicated. For me, it sounds a little simple. But I realize that it's not, because sometimes like pressure is loud, or that pull, like you could be being pulled toward passions, because some of the things that are in your head, these are the things that it's just a part of your DNA, it's part of your personhood. These are things that I like doing. Whereas direction, the things that God is actually saying do, could be a little quieter, right? And I always tell people that what you feel pressure to do is you're going to normally feel more rushed. And what you feel directed to do, you're normally going to feel a little more resistance. And so I ask myself real questions when it's time. Because when you're multifaceted and you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of vision, I always ask, am I being pulled by emotion right now? Or am I being directed by the Spirit of God in purpose? Mm-hmm. And then here's the bigger question. When he's telling me to move, my biggest question is, have I actually stewarded what's already in my hands? Yeah. Or am I looking for something new to avoid what's unfinished? Mm-hmm. That's a big one for me, because if I already have fruit, one of the biggest indicators for me that it's time to move on is completion with the thing that he gave me before. I felt this, or I thought this, or I heard this, right? And so is there fruit from the last decision I made? Not perfection, but growth. Yeah. Learning, maturity. If something it feels unresolved, I'm cautious about rushing ahead just because, something else feels new or something else feels exciting. And for me, what I move into always builds on something, or it makes sense of why I had to do the thing before it. Does that make sense to y'all? So I'll give y'all a quick example. I'll give y'all a quick story time. I used to be in the beauty industry, right? So I did hair, I did makeup. During that season, this is the season where my hands physically built everything, right? I didn't want to do anything. You preach where? For what, right? Who was doing that? I wanted to make money. I wanted to be with the celebrities. I wanted to be like a celebrity makeup artist. My husband, yes, you're a pastor. I'll see y'all on the Sundays I'm in town. Like, that was my perspective, right? And I knew that I wanted to activate the sleeping beauty in women. I was talking about like who they could present as, like who they communicated themselves to be before they spoke. This is what I'm thinking. And so she's about to be bad. Her hubby's going to be like drooling over her. She's going to go to the red carpet. They're going to be like, she's the best to ever do it. And then After all these years, I wake up to a full book and my hand is not working.
Wow.
I cannot move my hand. And I'm like, I'm scared. Like, is it paralyzed? Like, what is happening? I had been doing hair for years. I was known for speed, had a full book, had to cancel all those appointments. I go to the doctor. They're like, this is probably just tendonitis or, something that they were basically like my hand probably was jammed or, how you play basketball and you jam your thumb. They was basically saying that it could be that. Y'all, week 1, go by. Week 2, go by. Week 3, go by. Hand still not moving. Go back. They say you have 2 options. Either you can go to physical therapy, which may take at least 6 months to a year to probably get things back to working because your tendons are so inflamed that we have to, first of all, get the inflammation to go down, but we have to get your hand mobile again because moving it was excruciating. Or he said that we're going to have to do surgery. Well, in the field, everybody knows that they do surgery, you may never be able to use your hand again, right? And so during this time, I am stuck because this is what I thought my purpose was. I was preaching a little bit, but I'm a visitor at my own church. You called me for the conference, for the Women's Day. I'm a visiting preacher. Like everybody's excited because I'm not going to be up here all the time. I've always been true to discipleship and mentorship, but I do that on the couch. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't need the stage for that. Anyway, 5 weeks go by, 8 weeks go by. I'm like, oh my God, my identity now is like in this like big uproar because I'm like, what the heck am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I started feeling a little depressed because I'm like, what if my hand never works again? I had lost most of my clients. I had to send them somewhere else. And I kept saying, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? To make a long story short, when you're trying to decide where you're going to move, what you're going to execute, what you're going to do, the questions you ask God matters. Mm-hmm. They matter so much, right? And so here I am worried because my hand is no longer working. And I'm asking God, what am I supposed to do next? Because I knew that there has to be more. Like, I know this wasn't the end of me. I'm like, okay, I know this was it, but I know that there has to be more. God had to say to me, you are asking me the wrong question. Mm. He said, the question is not what you're going to do next. It is who you need to become so that you won't block what you're called to do next, so that you won't interfere with what you're called to do next, right? That season taught me something and it stayed with me. Discernment is always about direction, but always asking the right questions. The Bible says, seek and ye shall find, knock, the door shall be open, ask. But what are you asking, right? We think success, we think movement is in the realm of do, but movement, the first place that you should stop is who must I become? Because it's about capacity for what's next. I asked the right question, and y'all, the floodgates open with revelation. It was so, you know how something is so clear that you couldn't deny it if you wanted to? Literally, I started posting on social media. Women are starting to ask me, be a mentor. I'll pay you. I mean, they just like, do you coach? I'll pay you. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not, I'm going to get my hands together. I'm going to get healed. It's going to be a miracle. By the 50th woman, I'm counting. I'm like, wait. Maybe God is trying to tell me something. He's like, yeah. He was like, you're so content with being the secret weapon and the one that is pulled on for occasions that you don't realize that I had to interrupt your dream so that you can actually live out your calling. Mm. And so I said, okay, here I am like your husband, where I'm like, it's time to take a risk. Well, if they want a mentor, let me put them in a Facebook group. Let me see what I can do. I started praying, what do I teach? What should I give? And the Lord just said, be led. The more I was led, this is probably like 6 years ago, the more I was led, the more women that came. And before you know it, I had like a 10K day, not knowing what I was doing. Because I opened up a 6-week mentorship program just because the demand was there. And the Lord is like, you couldn't see the demand because you were too busy living your dream. So I saw the comments. I saw what they were saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw the transformation from the post and all that. I didn't care about that because I was going to be a makeup artist. I was going to do the thing. But when I asked the question, I feel like the Lord is like, you had the right vision. You just didn't understand that there was going to come a time where the season would shift. And that same passion, that same desire would shift lanes. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I mean by one season builds on another, because now I am awakening the sleeping beauty in a woman, but now it's through her power, it's through her voice, it's through how she leads, it's through her confidence. And so now I have the privilege of journeying with everyday women and then helping them become undeniable leaders in their field, in what they do. So yeah, I know that was a bit of a story time, but I had to tell it because I feel like that's what trained my discernment in how I knew what to do. Like I wasn't necessarily, I was pulled to the beauty industry, but I was directed and led into coaching and mentorship.
Mm-hmm. Dang. I'm like, I feel pretty good, but sign me up.
Come on, girl. You can come right on over here with us.
Oh my gosh. So when that shift began to happen, did you have an inner sense of resistance towards it because it wasn't what you had envisioned for yourself?
I did. I had so much resistance. I had imposter syndrome around it. And then I had to grieve what I thought I would be and who I thought I would be. And yeah, I had resistance, but also in that season, that's when I learned that most of the time when resistance shows up, it's only your soul fighting to remain comfortable. It was during that season where it's like your comfort zone sometimes feels safe, but the Lord had to reveal to me that the comfort zone is actually a pretty prison. And so you're in a pretty padded cell, blocked from the very things that God is calling you into. And literally, I kept hearing him say, resist the resistance. Resist. So whatever that resistance said no to, get up, go do it. Whatever that thing, because sometimes it don't even show up like it may show up around nervousness. It may show up around inadequacy. It may show up around shame, fear. It may show up around like, just being overly concerned with what people are going to think. It just shows up differently. For me, it was more like, no. Like my body was like, no, we're not doing this. No, we can't do this. And so I started resisting resistance, and it helps by posting every day. Because I was like, maybe I can't, go all the way, but what I can do is gradually bring myself out of this comfort zone. Because what people don't realize is there's also a cost there, and the cost is you.
Yeah.
Your purpose, like your destiny. You're literally so comfortable thinking like the unknown is so scary. But what's really scary is that you're decaying and dying every day. But because you're comfortable, you don't see it.
Yeah.
Wow. Were there moments as you resisted resistance that felt like failure? Like where you felt like, okay, I'm stepping out and I'm doing these things that God is calling me to do. But maybe you didn't reach what you were like aiming for, or you didn't show up the way you intended in a certain space. Like, how did you have those moments? And if you did, how did you navigate those feelings of what you may have perceived as failure, but they might not have actually been failure?
That's good.
Honestly, I think that when I started the journey, I'm going to be real. And I think that even if people are dealing with that, they can shift back to what I'm about to say. I approached it like I know nothing. I don't have any expectations. I don't necessarily have any goals. Like, what do you want me to do today? And so I don't think that I experienced like failure or like any fear around it because I didn't put pressure on myself to be anything more than where I was. I wasn't necessarily telling the world, like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have revelation, but I just don't know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't know why
I was very honest with God. And I'm going to tell you what I did so that I couldn't fail, to be honest. Once I got a hold of this is what you're called to do for women, I sat down and wrote out everything that I thought that I was supposed to teach women. And then I positioned myself to be coached. I positioned myself to be mentored, because we often think like produce and give, but if you're not immersed and if you don't put yourself even on teams, even for other people to kind of see like how things go, you're like shooting in the dark. I don't like shooting in the dark. I just don't. I don't like shooting. I don't care. Give me a book. Give me a newsletter. I don't even care what it is. Give me a billboard. Something needs to help me know that I'm moving in the right direction and what I'm going to do is going to be effective. And so I started investing in myself before I started judging myself. I'm new to this. I don't have to know. Now, I was simultaneously stepping out, but I was also taking the ladies on the journey. That's how I know people like authenticity. Because they're like, you're like 5 steps ahead of me, but you're so human that you're making this a reality for me. Like this feels more attainable because I'm not coming and you're already all these things or you're acting so confident. I told them things that they needed to know, like, hey, I'm not confident every day, but my decision is outweighing my emotions. And women especially have to learn that when you allow your emotions to lead out, you're never going to be anything because your emotions lie all the time. Your emotions can only reflect back to you what has happened. Your emotions don't have revelation of who you are.
Yeah.
And who you can become. However, when you get the vision, you have to make decisions in that direction until your emotions align. Remember how I said, like, even your worst days got to serve you?
Yeah.
It's at some point where your emotions have to line up to say, oh, she's not playing. We tried to make her remember that she was small, but her decisions are saying she real big. Like, you know what I mean? Like, call me Big D, basically. Like, that's what I was telling my emotion. Like, literally, I'm not the little one. Okay, call me number one. You're used to being number two, but we're number one now. So making those decisions, and I think my advice to people who may feel like, well, I failed, according to who?
Yeah.
According to who? What is failure? Even like a podcast, what is failure?
Yeah.
According to who?
Exactly.
Who gets to judge that?
Yeah.
And when you have that mentality, even if I do fail, guess what? It's gonna work for me. And literally, that wasn't always my mindset, but I made it my mindset. I don't care if I mess up; it'll be fine. I have grace to learn, just like everybody else. You know, people show us the glitz and the glam, but people don't show you the process. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need more people who are willing to say, "This is the real. Don't believe the hype." Okay, they're teaching you stuff that they don't even believe. Okay, this is what you're really dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and this is how you get through it.
Especially now, you got a lot of people who will use ChatGPT and they just put it out there to be like, I'm an expert in this. Like, you haven't done not one of these things that you're saying. Okay, I mean, do what you need to do. I'm not
And I
saying
need to talk about church because come on, like this is not even
do
you.
what you need to do. But all I'm saying is that a lot of people will bypass discernment and clarity from God versus and use ChatGPT for confirmation.
Absolutely. And it's thinking for them.
Yeah.
It's thinking for them. And that's another thing too. Like, think about everybody's using ChatGPT, right? My approach wouldn't just be to use it. I'm learning AI in general. Right? They're using it to think for them. It's like, don't you realize that if you put your own genius into it, that it's going to create something for you that nobody else can have because you're not just going into, you're not just like, oh, make me the greatest coach ever to live. What do you have to offer?
Right.
Like, what are you gonna tell it? You know what I'm saying? Like, but you're right. People are making money teaching people things that they don't know how to do, and that is insane to me.
That's wild. That is wild.
The thing, they're making money. They look successful.
Yes.
They look successful.
Well, that changes the definition of success should be for a lot of people, where it's like, it's not just monetarily. We're talking about calling and purpose.
Yes.
That actually bring you life and joy versus just money and, cars and stuff.
That's real. That's real.
You often talk on Facebook. That's typically where I run into your posts, get knocked out. Talk about activation and often challenging people to take like that big next step in obeying God. If you had to like give some practical things that people could do like this week, like immediate things that you can do to activate yourself in obedience to God, what would you suggest?
This is a great question. I think that before you do something external, there's going to have to be some internal things that I think people consider when we start talking about activation. Because what do you need to be activated? I may not need the same things that you need. Some people may be waiting for certainty, right? Other people may need somebody to actually spell things out, like literally train me into this. Other people, it may be a matter of rewiring, even your whole entire makeup. For somebody else, activation into leadership or activation into healing or whatever you're doing may require some trauma work. You get what I'm saying? And so I think that my question would be, what has stopped you from moving forward? Because that's probably the thing that we need to touch if we're going to activate you forward. And activation for me is not really like just a big leap. It's the everyday things that you do. It's the minor steps that you take. It's the small things that you take into consideration in your journey, and you repeat them until you master them, right? And so I feel like most people want to be activated before they're actually located. And it's very important to be located, because I'll give you an example. For me, activation requires some healing. But I also needed some certainty in the journey. My certainty was never going to be in the thing that I was called to. My certainty needed to be in the God that called me, right? But I didn't even realize, even in my journey, that I don't even trust that he got me for real. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, these are the real conversations. Because it's like, I can pump you emotionally. And that's another thing too. Like, you don't always feel the activation when you're being activated. Activation is nothing more than preparation, and also then being set in position to do what God said you need to do. Emotional, like, hype and all that kind of stuff, I feel like that gives you some level of motivation. That's it. But when motivation leaves you, what is going to stabilize you? It is knowing who you are, but not only knowing who you are, knowing what those sabotagers are. The activation for me looks like removing those sabotaging things, whether it was something that someone spoke over me, something that I believed about myself, something that I was afraid of. It literally starts there at the root, not necessarily when it comes to like just stepping out. Because I think that's what people think, like, I'm going to step out, activate me in this and activate me in that. It's like, no, activation actually starts with awareness. It's the moment where you realize that something is being asked of me, something is shifting, something is requiring more of me, and you pay attention to where you are, your capacity now. Can I be responsible for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I ready for this level of leadership? And not to diminish myself, but to put myself in the right spaces where I can receive clarity for what to do next, or what responsible step to take next, right? And this is the main thing, and I'm going to end with this. For this question, for me, activation is more about your focus than anything else, and people don't realize that. Focus becomes everything. I've learned this the hard way in so many seasons, that divided focus weakens your leadership and it weakens you in the purpose for whatever that is. And so it could, whatever that assignment is in the season, right? Your focus is what's going to determine whether you succeed or not. And so what's really being activated is your perspective, your sight, how you think, how you see, what you say, what you do, what rooms you're willing to enter. That's what's actually being activated.
That's so good. That's so good.
So really doing that inner work, like,
yes,
not so much
the
focused
work that people don't want to do.
Yeah.
Not so much focused on like the thing that you're called to produce or whatever, whatever it is, but really dealing with what's in the heart, so that you are at a place where you can be prepared and postured for whatever that next step is.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
I got some work to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a woman, but all of this has been extremely helpful for me. And any fellas listening, y'all need to take heart to this, because I think this is the same kind of work that we need to do as men. Obviously with the masculine twist on it, but I mean, it's the same work. It's the same.
Everything she just said, that was gender free.
I agree. Wow.
And I think sometimes too, like I consider myself a person who's been intentional to dive into that inner work. But even for us, like, that's not like a one and done kind of thing. Like, that's a continual process, because there's layers to it, right? And when I notice, for me, when I meet resistance, inward resistance to certain things I feel like God is calling me to, like, that's an indicator, like, okay, what's that right there? Like, why am I resisting this thing so much? Like, there's confirmation after confirmation that's come in these particular areas, and still I'm like, I'd rather not. Like, okay, what's going on there? And like, I think as a people, we need to be cognizant, like, okay, like, this isn't just, okay, a season of doing the work of diving into what are the ways that I self-sabotage, or what are the things that I need to prepare me for what God has lined up next for me. Like, it is an ongoing process.
It really is.
That's good. not really a fun process all the time. I'll be honest.
Not at all.
Be honest. I don't look forward to those conversations with my therapist. But it's needed. It's needed, and I will say, like for me, this season of my life has been the first season that I've really dug deep in those kind of behind the scenes, like how to actually emotionally deal with things, not just trauma things, but just things, right?
Yes.
And so I think that's important, and I think we've heard more about it in the church world, and especially as people of color, we've heard more of doing those things in the past few years. But I think more conversations need to be communicated about how important it is to navigate those inner emotional things, mental health, because I think the enemy has used those things to prevent people from walking fully into what God called them to walk into, because they don't know how to navigate their emotional state. They don't know how to navigate properly just mentally how to deal with certain things.
Yeah. That's real. That's real.
This has been so amazing. I'm so thankful that you said yes to our invitation from
Absolutely.
I was literally like one night, we had pretty much fully planned out the season, and it was one late night, one of your posts popped up, and I was like, this is crazy, but I'm just going to see what she says. Like, I think she would be an amazing addition to what we've already prepared. And I think people need to hear your voice and the power behind your voice.
Yeah.
And so I'm super glad that you said yes.
Thank you for thanking me.
People need to hear what you have to share. Your conference, is there one coming up?
Yeah, so it's always in the summertime. So summer 2026, we'll definitely have our gathering. And this year, I am feeling like we really need to gather more women leaders, even women that are leaders in the home. Sometimes we leave them out, but it's like, no, she's killing it in that house. And sometimes like just from the home to the C-suite. I feel like women need to be equipped and be prepared for what they need. Yeah, so it's going to be summertime. We don't have the exact dates yet, but it's going to be summertime of 2026, and we're actually working it out now. My team is working it out. Of course, I have like things happening with my coaching program. We have a retreat coming up in the springtime, but it's closed for my inner circle because those the girls. I call them the movers and the shakers, in my community, and so I do have some
in the inner circle now. Like,
yeah, we have to get you in. Yes, I do.
Springtime.
Yes.
So if people want to find out more about your coaching opportunities and the community that you're building, what's the best way for people to plug in?
Please come to dwilford.com. Straight there, you'll learn everything you need to know, especially about mentorship, coaching, all those things. You can find me on Facebook. My name is D. Jameson Wilford on Facebook, and then on Instagram, D. Wilford. And then I just got on TikTok. It's a lot over there, but it's also D. Wilford on TikTok. And so if you want to see like videos and clips more so than like my written posts, you might want to go to those platforms. Godly Woman Culture is also on Instagram as well. Like I said, it's not something that I do alone. It's something that I've been able to bring other powerful women along to build with me. And so you can find me on those spaces. If you want to book me, booking at dwilford.com is also how you book me, or you can go to my website and fill out the form, and my amazing assistant will get back to you as soon as she can.
She is amazing. She's been so helpful to us.
This is the Unstoppable Visionary Podcast. Again, thank you, Pastor D, for all that you have brought to us today. Gems, jewels, diamonds, all kinds of things. And body slams, straight elbows to the throat. It's been amazing. I appreciate the time. For you all who are listening and are part of the Unstoppable Visionary Squad, make sure to like, subscribe, share, do all the things y'all know what to do. Yeah, don't forget, Give Hope Daily. We out.
Y'all all right? Everybody okay? I know. Let's just take a deep breath. Yeah. Because life changed, right? Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. But thank you, Pastor D, for hanging with us and pouring into us, because yes, ma'am, I might need some water, and I might need to hydrate, and just, you know what? Let's just, everybody just go to your corner, your prayer closet. And because after this, I just feel like we all just need to talk to God. We just need to go and be with God. Don't go to heaven yet right now. Just go and sit in his presence in your prayer corner, okay? And talk to God about what your next bold move is and what steps he's requiring of you, because there's no better time to obey God than the present. Anything else, anything short of a now yes to God is straight up disobedience. But we have got the tools, we've received insight to help us make that next bold move. I can't say enough how much I love having these conversations. And I hope that you love them as much as we do. If you have enjoyed this conversation, drop it in the chat. Support, share it with someone else that you think might need to hear this message. And yeah, we'll see you next week with our next amazing guest. I can't even listen. I can't hardly talk, right? Because Pastor D, amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for Pastor D and for every person that's watching and for all the things that you're calling us to do and for equipping and empowering us to say yes at a whole new level. Thank you, God. Amen. That's it. I don't got nothing else. I'll see y'all next week. Okay, bye.
You know this is the Unstoppable Visionary podcast, but did you know that there was an Unstoppable Visionary book? Yes, there it is right here. This is an exclusive copy for you by my wife here, Adrienne Threat. She authored this book, and this book is filled with insights, filled with her journey, filled with the processes and the thoughts that we have toward how to prevent burnout, how to keep things going when things are at its worst, but you can't stop, you won't stop. Get it. Yeah, we can't do it. Can't do that. We can't stop. We got to keep it moving, because your vision, the passion, the things that are inside you that make you unique need to come out, and they can't be stopped. So I want you to go get you a copy of this book. The link for it will be in the show notes, but you can also go to givehopedaily.com. Get your copy today.